CBS News Miami.
And good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jim Barry. Welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories, and right off the top, we are tracking the tropics. A new tropical storm, Rafael, has formed in the Caribbean, and it is expected to become a hurricane on its way to Cuba. Let's find out more about Rafael from Next Weather Chief Meteorologist and Hurricane Specialist Ivan Cabrera. Ivan, what can we expect with
Number
this?
17, the named storm here of the Atlantic hurricane season. We're still going into November with Tropical Storm Rafael. This was a depression this morning. Hurricane hunters have been in there and found closed circulation. So now we're looking at a storm that will eventually intensify into a Category 1 hurricane as it heads up towards Cuba. Jamaica already under watches there with some heavy rain that's going to be on the way. There's the plane that flew in. It made its usual passes there and depicted, the circulation has now closed, and so we have a bona fide tropical storm in Rafael, again forecast to become a hurricane as we head into particularly tomorrow night. First thing I want to point out, this is not going to impact our weather for tomorrow. We're going to continue to have some showers through Election Day, even some thunderstorms, windy conditions, but the impacts, peripheral impacts of Rafael won't be felt until really Tuesday night after 11 and then heading into Wednesday, and that's Wednesday when we have the next alert that's going to be coming up. There's the moisture stream that's going to continue to make it into our direction. For now, it is the same pattern we've been in. There's nothing unusual about this, right? Just that east wind that will continue to bring us on and off showers as we head through the remainder of today. It does turn windier with showers and storms for tomorrow, so the coverage will be a lot, a wider spread than it is right now. And then for tomorrow night, that's when I'm expecting the bands from Rafael to begin to move in, and that won't happen until after midnight, after 11 o'clock. A lot of us are probably still going to be up at this point, but Wednesday is our alert day. That is when I'm expecting the rain to be heavy enough for the potential of some localized flooding. So it's just something to keep our eyes on, because the moisture that's going to be coming in will be tropical, right? So the downpours will be significant, and they could accumulate. So for the rest of tonight, we're looking at temperatures into the upper 80s. We're doing, again, with a few showers coming in off the breeze. But here is the plan for tonight and into tomorrow, Election Day, as we see some showers, again, flying in on the breeze through the overnight. And then for tomorrow, there are the polls opening at 7 o'clock, and you can see some pockets of heavy weather, some heavy downpours here. So that is going to be an issue throughout the day. Not associated yet with Tropical Storm Rafael, but that will begin to change. There we are at lunchtime as you continue voting, and then heading into the closing of the polls there, looking much better, but winds are still going to be gusty between 25 and 30. So now we take you as we head into Tuesday night, beginning around midnight. Look at that. That is the beginning, of course, of what will be Rafael and the impacts here. The hurricane will not make a direct impact across South Florida. It'll move to our west, but all that rainfall associated with it will begin to move in. And those are the kinds of bands that could include wind gusts between 40 and 45 miles an hour. That's 4 a.m., 6 a.m. That all begins to lift up to the north, and we just continue raining throughout the day on and off on Wednesday, which is why we have the next alert again for the potential of some flooding there. So forecast through tomorrow, rain chances going up to 40%, and then we'll bump that up to 60%. That's our next alert day on Wednesday, and then we'll begin to see improvements of residual moisture on Thursday, but rain chances coming down big time by the end of the week and into the next weekend.
Ivan, thank you very much. Well, we are now just one day away from Election Day. Today is the last full day of campaigning, and the presidential candidates are making their final pitch to voters. Former President Donald Trump is visiting 3 battleground states, while Vice President Kamala Harris concentrates on just one. CBS News Miami's Natalie Brand has the very latest.
Former President Donald Trump returned to North Carolina Monday, a battleground state he carried the last 2 elections.
Here's my only purpose in even being here today: get out and vote. You know that.
In the final stretch of the campaign, Trump went off message at his Sunday rally in Pennsylvania.
And I have this piece of glass here, but all we have really over here is the fake news, right? And to get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news, and I don't mind that so much.
The campaign, trying to downplay the remarks, said they had nothing to do with the media being harmed. Vice President Kamala Harris is focusing all of her attention election eve on Pennsylvania, where she will hold star-studded Get Out the Vote concerts this evening, along with coordinated events across the battleground states.
We have momentum. It is on our side. Can you feel it?
In Michigan Sunday, Harris tried to appeal to the state's large Arab American population.
I will do everything in my power to end the war in Gaza.
The polls continue to show a tight race in all the key battleground states within the margin of error.
A race this close can not just break either way, but can break very large in a direction either way because there's so many factors.
It all comes down to turnout. More than 78 million Americans have voted early this election. That's nearly half of the 2020 total vote. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And this footnote, women make up 54% of early voters. Men make up a little less than 44%. And CBS News Miami's Najahe Sherman is also in Washington, D.C. She is sharing one South Floridian's experience in the nation's capital leading up to Election Day.
I'm here in Washington, D.C. with Morgan Knight. She attends Howard University and is from Broward County. Your first time voting in a presidential election. How does it feel?
It feels great, honestly, being a Howard University student, being a woman of color, and being an HBCU student in general. It's just an amazing feeling to just be here in the D.C. atmosphere and just be along my fellow students pushing out to get the vote and encourage our fellow Bison Kamala Harris to be the next president of the United States.
Describe the energy on campus the last few days leading up to the election.
Yes, the energy is amazing. I would say it's different than any other thing that I've ever seen. You know, being on campus for a presidential election for the first time, it's just everybody's excited to get out the vote.
Well, join me tonight at 5 o'clock as I share more stories of South Floridians here in Washington, D.C. leading up to Election Day. Reporting in Washington, D.C., Najahe Sherman, CBS News, Miami.
Najahe, thank you for that. Be certain to join us tomorrow, Election Day. We'll have extensive live team coverage of all the key races on air and online. We'll also have a special edition of CBS News Miami beginning at 4 p.m., followed by CBS News Miami at 5 and 6. Then at 7, America Decides. Live CBS News coverage all night long right here on CBS Miami. We will also be tracking all our local races with special coverage on the CBS News Miami stream. Find us on CBS News Miami, on Pluto TV, and the CBS News app. And then the morning after election night, wake up with us. CBS News Miami will be live starting at 5 a.m. At 6 a.m., CBS Mornings takes over with nationwide team coverage on the elections, but we're keeping it live and local on our CBS Miami stream and CW Miami 33 from 6 to 9 a.m. In other news now at 4 p.m., bold burglars stopped and handcuffed in Plantation. According to police, they were rummaging through a car when officers arrived at the scene. That is when the suspects took off in a getaway car. After a brief pursuit, they crashed, abandoned the car, and ran off, but officers managed to track them down and make arrests. Meanwhile, in Homestead, police are looking for a man who they believe is linked to an attempted abduction on Halloween. This happened at a parking lot near Marshall's on Homestead Boulevard. We talked to the mother of the victim. She says a man approached her daughter saying he needed help with his wife. When things felt off, the woman tried to leave. Then the man grabbed her, but she was able to escape.
I was definitely terrified. After getting over what had occurred, I was angry because I wanted to make sure that we're able to catch him. This could have happened to anyone's daughter. Unfortunately, it happened to mine, but she was able to get away.
Police describe the suspect as a man in his mid to late 60s, around 5 feet 4 inches tall with a fuzzy white beard. Homestead police say if you know anything about this, give them a call. When we come back, a very warm welcome for Santa in South Florida. We take you to the celebration right after this. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast, and today we remember legendary music producer Quincy Jones, who has died at the age of 91. Jones propelled America's biggest pop stars to new heights and laid down the sound synonymous with some of Hollywood's biggest hits over a career spanning more than 7 decades. He is best known for polishing the work of artists like Ray Charles and Frank Sinatra, and of course Michael Jackson. Jones made his debut as a film producer on The Color Purple, which earned 11 Oscar nominations. Jones is one of only 21 EGOT winners in the world. Well, the Earthshot Prize, founded by Prince William, awards tens of millions of dollars to organizations with innovations protecting the environment and even reversing climate change. This year, 3 of the 15 finalists are American companies. CBS News Miami's Dina Demetrius visited one in Los Angeles to learn more.
The world's oceans all around us are acidifying. As we emit more and more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, the oceans absorb it.
Gaurav Sant leads the Institute for Carbon Management at UCLA. He created Aquatic to tackle climate change by removing acidic carbon dioxide from the ocean, 100,000 times faster than nature can do on its own.
We actually activate and expand the ocean's capacity to store carbon dioxide without inducing acidification. And that's actually really important for ocean health.
This custom-built pilot plant in the port of Los Angeles is one of 4 Aquatic is building around the globe. Seawater is pumped in, then an electric current splits it into hydrogen, oxygen, base, and acid.
And send it off further into these white tanks that you see behind you, which is really where we end up absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere into the process. It allows you to measure exactly how much hydrogen you produce. It allows you to exactly measure how much carbon dioxide you remove.
And you'll know how much water you've actually cleaned.
That's exactly right. And
while producing clean hydrogen fuel in the process, it's all earned Aquatic a shot at the $1.3 million Earthshot Prize. Aquatic's ocean carbon removal process is competing in Earthshot's Fix the Climate category, along with a company that converts heat waste to electricity. That's an innovation by Colorado-based Advanced Thermovoltaic Systems. And Earthshot finalist Natural Fiber Welding in Illinois uses plant-based materials to replace plastic in everything from cars to clothing.
We are more than a prize. We're a platform for scale and for impact.
Hannah Jones says Earthshot is a long-term partner for success.
By connecting them to investors, to philanthropists, to businesses. And then we tell stories about these heroes to spark young people's imaginations and to have them sit up and say, hang on, I don't need to choose anxiety.
Both Jones and Sant say helping the environment requires all hands on deck.
Decarbonization at a global scale is going to be one of the largest endeavors that humanity takes on.
Dina Demetrius, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And finally, 'tis the season at Bass Pro Shops in Dania Beach. Hundreds of people came out for the parade that welcomed Santa and Mrs. Claus over the weekend to the store. Look at that. Santa and the Mrs. will call Santa's Wonderland inside the store home from now all the way up to Christmas Eve. So stop by the store any day to see them. And we understand they'd want to get away from the North Pole, especially this time of year. That is CBS News Miami's Quickcast. I'm Jim Barry. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami. Good afternoon.